Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Hannah. I am the owner and artist of a business called Hannah Banana Creations, where I create home decor using all kinds of upcycled materials, thrift store finds, furniture flips, and all kinds of different DIYs. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I took a couple of boxes that I found while I was out thrifting and upcycled them into some amazing jewelry boxes or just boxes to store trinkets in, whatever. For today's makeover, I used a variety of Redesign with Prima products, which you can find linked down in the description below, as well as a link to my website where you can find all kinds of different things that I've created or vintage home decor items, and I do ship all around the US and have local pickup in Fairfield, Iowa as well. For the first makeover in this video, I'm going to flip this jewelry box that I thrifted with this beautiful white velvet on the inside. And I thought these little drawers would be perfect to put some decoupage paper on the sides. And so the first thing I did was take everything apart to make everything easier to paint. And to do this, I took this really tiny screwdriver and just undid all the drawers, doors, and everything, and then laid all the hardware to the side. A little pro tip for you when you're doing little pieces like this and you have tiny pieces of hardware, put them in a baggie so you don't lose them. Since this piece was really shiny, I did go ahead and do a scuff sand all over the piece to make sure that my paint would adhere a little bit better. That way it gives it a little bit more grip for the paint to stick to. I decided to prime this piece, first of all, since it was really shiny and I needed my paint to adhere really well, and also because I was painting it a lighter color and I didn't want to have any bleed through issues later on. I don't always prime my pieces when I flip them, but when I'm painting something a lighter color on a darker wood, I definitely make sure to prime it first. Once my primer was completely dry, I started in with my paint finish, which was going to be an ombre look from a white to a really light sage color. So the first thing I did was start with my white and then gave that a coat all over the top of my piece. And then to fade it into the green, I used some water and blended it out until I was happy with the final result. Blended paint finishes can be a little bit tricky. When you're first starting out, I recommend starting with two colors that are likeness in shade or tint, such as two light colors or two dark colors to kind of get used to how the paint blends together. And then always be sure to use a mister bottle to keep your paint wet so it is workable throughout the process. Blended finishes take a little bit of practice and a little bit of patience, but they do turn out really, really awesome and give your projects a very unique look. To add some boho flair to my piece, I'm using this Decor stamp from Redesign with Prima along with their silver Decor ink. To apply the Decor ink, I just pounce it evenly all over the stamp, and then when I'm ready to place it on my piece, I just take my time, make sure everything is centered. And to keep my stamp from shifting, I always make sure I keep one hand steady on my stamp while I move my other one around to apply the pattern. To add some fun floral details, I took this mini transfer called Botanical Paradise, also from Redesign with Prima, and I applied that in various places all over my jewelry box. These mini transfers are perfect for jewelry boxes and other small projects. They're also really easy to apply. You can just cut them up and arrange them however you like, and then you can use the transfer tool to rub it onto your piece. And if you want to try any of these for yourself, be sure to check out the link in the description box down below. I added some little mini stamp details to the inside of the jewelry box as well, so when the door opened up, there'd be this nice, cute little peekaboo pattern right there. And to add even more hidden details, I added some decoupage paper to the sides of the drawers. First, I laid everything out and then marked it with a pencil, and then cut everything to size just using some scissors. To apply my decoupage paper, I used this matte decoupage gel. First, I spread on a layer where I want the paper to go, and then after I apply the paper, I apply another coat over the top of that to seal everything up. To seal the outside of my piece, I just applied a layer of clear wax all over and then buffed all that off with a microfiber cloth. To Add a little bit more details to the hardware. I first went over with a dark wax to set into all the details. A quick tip for applying any kind of decorative waxes that are dark or metallic or anything like that. If you start with a layer of clear wax first, it helps keep your decorative waxes workable and it keeps them from saturating your paint and ruining your paint job. You can also use the clear wax as kind of an eraser if you mess up with your decorative waxes. It'll help clean up any spots that you don't want or anything you messed up on. And here is the final result of this jewelry box makeover. It turned out so cute. It is so dainty and girly. I absolutely love how this makeover turned out. For makeover number 2, I'm taking this thrifted wood box with a mirror, and since the mirror was not in very good shape, I decided to cut that out and remove all this fake looking gold trim out of it as well. This box did need a little bit of repairs before I started painting, so I took some construction adhesive to reapply the hinges to because they were just sliding out and the lid would just fly off, so I clamped that up and let that dry overnight, and then I sanded off the old crackling decoupage that was on the top. Once everything was sanded smooth, I did apply a layer of primer to prevent any bleed-through issues since I was painting this box a light pink color. I painted all the sides and the edges in this light pink color called Julia from Lily Moon Paint. It's this really gorgeous light blush color. I chose this specific color because it matched the decoupage paper that I was going to be adding to the top of the piece. After the sides had completely dried, I did a layer of plain white paint on the top of the piece. Since I was laying a piece of decoupage paper on the top, the white helps the pattern stand out a lot better and keep your pattern from getting muddled into the color of a dark background. I cut out a template first to make sure I got the shape of the box correct before I cut it out of my decoupage paper. And that way I could lay it out and get the specific spot on the paper that I wanted on my box. Then I just traced everything lightly with a pencil and cut everything out with a pair of scissors. After I had the piece of decoupage paper cut out and ready to go, I attached it to my piece using the matte decoupage gel from Redesign with Prima. When you are doing decoupage projects, you just want to start with a little thin layer of decoupage gel first to lay down your piece. That way you won't get bubbles underneath your paper that you're adding onto the gel. And then once you have that placed on and all smoothed out, you place another layer of decoupage gel on top to seal everything up. A quick trick to get your decoupage paper to lay out flat and to get all the bubbles smoothed out, you can take a piece of plastic wrap, or in this case a little plastic baggie because that's what I had on hand, to smooth everything out. To add some details to the sides, I took some white Decor ink and put it on this Decor stamp and very carefully added it to the little crevices on each side of the jewelry box. This part was pretty tricky, especially because this stamp was so small and it's going on a curved surface. I did have to redo it a couple of times. It happens. But like I said before, if you just take your time when you're stamping, it usually turns out crisp and clean. I wanted to accent the inside of the piece, especially since there was some glue residue and some staining in it from previous use. So I took some decoupage gel and some vintage sheet music that I had on hand and added that as an accent on the inside. I have a pretty big stash of this vintage sheet music, and it's really handy to have, especially for projects like this where I just need to line the inside of something. I'm also currently working on getting packs of this vintage sheet music on my website so you guys can purchase them to use on your own decoupage projects. Once I had the inside completely decoupaged, I took this rose gold metallic Decor wax And I added that to the raised edges on the outside of the box just to give it a little bit more flair. And here's a look at how this beautiful jewelry box project turned out. I absolutely love it. It has already sold on my website, but I do have more jewelry boxes planned, and so be sure to stay tuned for those as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. If you want to see more videos like this, jewelry box upcycles, thrift flips, furniture flips, you name it, be sure to subscribe for my channel to see more. To see the other creations I currently have available, be sure to check out the link down below to my website, which is hannahbananacreations.com. If you want to create this look for yourself, be sure to check out the Redesign with Primo link down in the description as well. And be sure to stay tuned for more furniture flips, DIYs, upcycles, and many more creations to come.